You have the migrant crisis, you have terrorism in its major cities, the possibility of Brexit. How would you describe the state of Europe at this point?
As the verge of collapse. Never as much as today, Europe seemed to me at the edge of being destroyed. At the very day before a major collapse. This has been so unthinkable for the generation of those who were witnesses of the building of Europe. We thought that Europe was a process, that Europe was in the sense of history, that nothing will be able to stop the train going its way ahead. And this sort of progressism is being denied and may be broken under our eyes since a few days. This is very sad, and I did not think 20 years ago I might be witness of that.
So what's gone wrong?
What has gone wrong is probably the lack of hope, the lack of message, the lack of ideal and of identity by the builders of Europe themselves. How do you want the peoples to be proud of Europe and to vote for it when you have banknotes? I looked yesterday, coming to London, the notes of euro. They could have put on them Goethe or Byron or I don't know, Robert Schumann, Václav Havel, so many great Europeans. They put roads who go nowhere, broken bridges.
But is that because people already think Europe has failed?
I know. And even the Brexit today, I don't hear, even in those who are opposed to Brexit, I don't hear so much the claim of the positiveness of Europe. They only say that it will be bad for England. This is very significant. The most opposite to Brexit say it will be very bad for England to go out, which I believe, by the way. But nobody says how it would be a disaster for the West, for the world, for the fight against extremism and so on, to see Europe collapse, which is the main point.
Of course, many people argue the reason the West is targeted is because of successive failed interventions.
No, this is this monster we are facing today, radical Islam, began much before so-called failed interventions.
If you look at Libya, you were in the forefront of arguing for intervention in Libya, and yet look at it now, it's a lawless mess.
It is a mess, but it is not the place where the refugees come from. The biggest failure of the West is not the intervention in Libya, it's the non-intervention in Syria, which created much a bigger mess and destabilization than the intervention in Libya.
But if, as you argue, Europe is on the brink of collapse, what can it do?
What should it do? Have a brave, hopeful, strong, non-personally ambitious European leaders. But European leaders, not nationals who say, come on, Europe is good for us. No, Europe is one of the most incredible achievements of modern history. This should be said, this should be illustrated by many more leaders with concrete measures also.
You're here to talk today about Jeremy Corbyn and the anti-Semitism row within Labour. How do you see that as an outsider?
My assessment from outside, I say that with all the respect I owe to this great country and city which I love, is that there is really something rotten in the kingdom of Labour Party. Too many signs of current anti-Semitism and too many signs of Labour leaders not understanding. That's what strikes me a lot. In France, probably some people believe that Hezbollah or Hamas are their friends, but they would not say it.
And of course their argument was that they are critical of Israel, and that is not the same as being anti-Semitic.
Of course, you can be critical. Two different things. You can be critical of the government of Israel as of any government, especially in democracy, which is Israel. But to be critical of the very existence of Israel, which is to be favorable to those whose only program is to destroy Israel, is something else. If you are friend to Hamas or to Hezbollah, who have no other reason to be than destroy Israel, Hamas has no program except eradicate Israel from the area. So it is not only the government which you criticize, it's the very being of Israel. And this means the new way of anti-Semitism today.
Thank you very much for talking to us today.